This conference will now be recorded.
This is the City of North Olmsted Finance Committee of Council. It's 6:16. Present are committee members Schuman, Broussard, and Kelly, along with council persons Heeman, Limpert, Glassburn. Council President Jones is on board, Director Kopfer and Director Glauner, and guests. If I missed anybody, let me know. First on the agenda is 2020-62, which is a resolution adopting the alternative tax budget for the City of North Olmsted for the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2021, and submitting the same to the Cuyahoga County Fiscal Officer and its Budget Commission, and declaring an emergency. Director Kopfer.
Yes, thank you. The alternative tax budget is a means for the cities to show need to the Cuyahoga County Budget Commission to levy our property taxes. And they are also required to make sure that the debt service is met as well with the property taxes levied, because if it was for if it's general obligation, everything has to go through the property taxes if other means aren't going to meet that debt service. So they always want to make sure that that's covered. So in the attachment, I always find helpful the one that lists what each schedule represents. So the first schedule 1 is the division of taxes levied. It shows all the voted and unvoted millage for our city, of which the library millage, notice that it's 0 because it's paid off this year. So we're not levying, and we didn't levy any taxes this year either. But in 2021, it's gone. The fire station, and there is 0.5 mils of charter millage for recreation, and 0.7, which is a permanent levy, and then the 0.3 for each police pension and fire pension expense. And there's 11.1 mils in total for the charter millage. So you deduct what we need for these other things, the 0.3, 0.3, and 0.5 for rec, and the rest is left divvied up between debt service and for unvoted debt and the general operations. So that is how it's determined, so that all millage will be charged. As you can tell, there's also, so this is the request on the last column, what we're requesting from the Budget Commission. If it's anywhere, if it's higher or lower, I mean, within a mill, they call and ask for an exact amount. Obviously, it's just an estimate based on what 1 mill levies, which is about $900,000. The second schedule is the statement of fund activity, and the first column of numbers is just the projected ending, not projected, but the budgeted ending unencumbered balance for December of 2020. So this is basically our estimated resources for this year, subtract out our appropriations, and this is what's left to start the beginning of the year with. And then the property taxes, other sources. And then the second last column is estimated expenditures and encumbrances. What you will notice is that the general fund is a lot lower, but these again are this is just a very high level overview of these funds. And we do the real budgeting when the operational budget for the city that you guys review is. This is just to show that the funds are adequate and that the debt service is covered. Then the Schedule 3 is the unvoted general obligation debt service, which we're down to 24.385 million left in outstanding debt at the beginning of 2021 bonded unvoted debt. And then the next schedule is the outside 10 mil limit, which would be just the fire station bonds at this point, which we only have 1,330,000 of those left. And then the fourth schedule is we don't use, wait, hold on a second. I'm out of schedules. Oh, the fourth schedule is the voted, and then the fifth schedule we don't use. So the purpose of this is just to show need to the Cuyahoga County Budget Commission to levy the millage that we have in place for the city, which we have plenty of need.
Thank you. All right, let's go to committee for questions. Anybody? Council? No questions? This is fairly perfunctory. This is something we do every year. So I'll go ahead and I'll make the motion that we recommend 2020-62. And you did want suspension on this evening, correct? Carrie?
Yeah, I think though that you're having a special council meeting. I only need it passed by like July 10th to get
Okay.
it down to the budget commission by July 20th.
So no,
So
okay.
so if you're having another meeting, I'm fine with letting it go to third reading.
I believe we are going to have another meeting. Is that correct, President Jones? Thank you. Okay. I'll go ahead and make a motion that we recommend 2020-62 to all of council and ask for a second.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0. Thank you. The next item on the agenda, I believe this is up for suspension also. This is an ordinance approving and authorizing the acceptance of coronavirus relief funding under the Coronavirus Aid and Relief and Economic Security CARES Act and Ohio Senate Bill 310, affirming the expenditure of said funds by the city consistent with the CARES Act and declaring an emergency. Carrie?
Yes, not this Friday, but not this past Friday, but the Friday before, this was finally passed by the Ohio House, and it was signed right away into law. It didn't have a waiting period, and this is that Senate bill is what divvies up the monies that are coming in from the federal government to the state that is for smaller communities that weren't large enough to get their own monies directly from the federal funding act. If you remember, there were like size requirements. So the state got a bunch of money and then divvied it up to each county based on the local government funding formula. And then we received it. We received an estimate that it's going to be $781,000, which is a lot more than I expected it would be. I thought the state was going to keep some of that money for themselves, but they didn't. And it has a very quick spend down. It has to be expenditures March 1st through, it has to be encumbered or under contract by the end of October and spent by the end of December. So we are looking at, we have some things that we've already set up as COVID reimbursement funds, but we also get about 20-some thousand from EMS, and the firefighters applied to FEMA for a firefighter grant for another 50,000 or something like that. So this money is a large sum, and so we're going to have to we have to set up, the requirements also are to set up this fund, the local COVID coronavirus relief fund. So we have to set up a fund in our accounting system, even if it's just for this year. And we have to meet certain requirements. They're fairly general. In section 2 is of the ordinance, it talks about it. There's not a lot of guidance on it. There's examples and frequently asked questions, but we're looking at making some changes to our front lobby area and like building in Mayor's Court to then, I don't know if Kim's here or not on the meeting or not, but that's one of the things we're looking at doing to better keep the employees and the customers who are coming into City Hall safe and segregated and socially distant and all that. We're looking at, we're being pretty frugal trying to order like one sprayer for the rec center equipment, which is like a backpack thing, and some other type of things. I think you talked about some of them at another committee meeting, to spray and sanitize areas and equipment. But it would be better if we had a couple more because, I mean, we have a lot of buildings to cover. So Service Director Glauner is getting pricing on getting some more and what will better serve our building. And, we have a lot of PPP. If we need more, or PPE, we'll get more of that. And we're looking at, I'm not sure that it will be covered. I'm still investigating it, but we were also looking at ways to make our meetings in the council chamber and caucus more capable of being viewed by other people and integrated with the technology that would allow them to hold meetings and record meetings there. And so that if we keep with our 10 people, we would be able to then have most of council there to be able to have the meetings and other commissions and stuff as well after the, so that we can move forward with that. So we're looking at a lot of different things. It's, like I said, the amount was just made known the week before, and so we're looking at ways to expend it. There's in section 3 it talks, if we don't have the monies encumbered, then we have to pay what's not encumbered back to the county by October 15th. Then the county is going to redistribute the monies that we don't spend to everybody else. And then all the money has to be spent or encumbered by the end of December. And then it's over with. So we want to get moving on these things.
Carrie?
Oh, and this has to be set up. I'm sorry, one more thing. This fund has to be set up before we can receive any of the funds, which will be available in a week. They said in a week or so, and they said that on Monday. So
what about touchless stuff in the bathrooms?
I'm sorry. Yeah. That was the other thing, and that was like my favorite thing because we're getting the touchless. Don's getting prices on touchless sink handles, faucets, toilet flushers, hand dryers, soap dispensers that you just put your hand under and the soap comes out. So we're trying to improve people not having to touch things.
Now we have to be under contract. You said by October, sometime in October.
Right.
And then we actually have had to spend the money by sometime in December, you said.
Correct.
Can stuff be on back order? Does that matter? Can we, because we may run into a situation where there's going to be a lot of communities doing this, I would imagine.
Right. Yeah. No, I think that it has to be in under contract by encumbered. And then I don't know about the back order. I assume that as long as it's encumbered and we have a firm price, it's gonna be fine. It's just on like if it was a project and there were things that had to still get priced out. I don't think you can change the price once you get to that October 15th amount date.
And there's no using this for salaries or debt
No,
or anything else. Okay.
I'm glad you asked that question because the other thing that we can no, you can't the very important thing is that it can't be used for anything that was in our budget as of March 27th. That so we had, you know, any of the property, the stuff we ordered after and we adjusted after, we can pay for that. But like for example, some cities are using it because we had to get technology to you know, like the Surface Pros and stuff so people could work remotely. But we already had that in our budget because we were buying those anyway. So we can't use it for those computers that we were buying. If there were additional ones that weren't part of that purchase plan, that budget, we can include those, which there'll be some. So there's that type of thing. But the other thing it can be used for is unemployment expense that is not covered by the federal government or the state, which ours is, you know, we pay dollar for dollar, and we didn't budget any unemployment. We never do because it's a rare thing. So we have to adjust the budget for it coming up. So, and we were just figuring out what the amount was going to come by each area to kind of get a better idea of what to budget. So if those dollars aren't reimbursed by the feds or state, we can use the CARES money to reimburse our share that was ours. So it could be you know, another 20 to $50,000 depending on how much people are collecting.
Very good. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and open it up to questions from committee. Anybody? Okay, council? No questions? Wow, okay. In that case, thank you very much, Gary. I'm going to go ahead and make the motion
And
that
this needs to be suspended.
yes, I understand. I'm going to go ahead and make the motion that we recommend 2020-63 with suspension. And I'm going to ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0. Thank you very much, Gary.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Sorry, we're just trying to get our arms around exactly what additional things we're doing. And I know that we'll keep you informed, and we'll need the council process to move these things through. So
Well, it
some
sounds
of
like you have to find out what is going to be acceptable too before we spend any of the money, right?
right,
So-
but I've been doing that, and I feel that what we're talking about, and we're going to get more information tomorrow as to what the plan is for the lobby area. And we're going to try and add some security in that, because securing the building and securing and limiting access and directing access is part of this. So it kind of goes in with security improvements to the facility as well.
And this is any building that we own too, correct? I mean, we could
It could
do.
be, yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. Very good. Okay. Thank you very much for being on the ball with it. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and anybody have anything else they want to bring up, committee? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting at 7:19.